lanes, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
hey, welcome back. Welcome back. We're here again for another season of Ready to Love. This is season 8. This is episode 2. It's getting thought in here. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing well.
Well, thank you.
Good to see you all. Thank you for being here. And we are going to go ahead and get started, okay? We'll go ahead and get started. I see I got some comments in the comments section. Let me switch over to that. Hey, Reza, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned reviews. That's Wes. How you doing? Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. Stick around. Okay. Hey, cool gamer. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome in. LMV. Yes, my beloved and super duper A-team member and moderator extraordinaire is in the building. Yes. She's saying hi to everyone. And Monique, how are you? Hey guys, be sure to hit that like button like Monique is telling you. Hit the like button. It helps us get out into the algorithm, and it helps us stay here to produce and to perform more interesting shows for you guys. Hey, Ravine S, that's another one of our 18 members. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute. Hey there, enjoying your summer, huh? Just gonna shrug us off because it's a hot girl summer this year, huh? Yes. So we'll welcome everybody in. Guys, what did you think? You can tell me just generally speaking, like no specifics necessarily, but what did you think of this episode? Let me start over here with JR. JR, what did you think?
Good evening, everyone. I thought this episode had quite a few different talking points, quite drama-filled,
yes,
which I'm sure we're going to get into. Definitely wasn't a boring one, but I still have some questions over some of the choices that are being made, and I'll elaborate more as we go on. But definitely an interesting episode.
All right. Thank you for those words. Ron, because I know you're going to be in and out, so let me get to you right quick. What did you think of this week's episode?
I like the episode. I think it did a good job of kind of showing more about the cast members and kind of their character, of who they are, and kind of the roles they might be playing this season. But it was entertaining, and I enjoyed it.
Okay. Let me ask you a quick question because we know that you're a RTL insider and alumni. Are any of these people that are in the Dallas area, are you familiar with some of them personally?
I am. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I figured so. So we'll get into that in a minute. Hey, let me check in with Kimberly. We'll get one of the ladies in here besides myself. Kimberly, what were your thoughts about this week's episode?
I enjoyed it. Good episode so far. And I'm just looking forward to learning more about the different personalities because I'm sure they're playing it nice for now, but I'm already side-eyeing 2 of them. So looking forward to the season.
Let me guess, it happened to be 2 of the ladies, huh?
Oh, a guy and a lady. So
one of each. Okay, very balanced on your part. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we want to introduce to you Calvin Thompson. Calvin, tell us, what did you think of this week's episode?
Well, I like the honesty and the transparency, even though it got mixed reviews. I think it's great that people can be honest and transparent about what their needs are and what the concerns are, but then sometimes it can come back and bite you, you know?
Yes. Oh, we got 2 content creators in here so far that I know of. Welcome in Books with Kimberly. Not to be confused with Kimberly, our own precious Kimberly Reviews.
Mhm.
Books with Kimberly is also a YouTube content creator here on YouTube. Good to see you, Books with Kimberly. I'm sorry, I'm almost wanting to say Kimberly Reviews. And hey there, Monique again. Yeah, I thought it was a good episode. There was lots for us to talk about, so we're going to go ahead now and get right into that. There was some, I don't know, I don't like saying necessarily toxic, but there were some parts that there were some scenes that I did not agree with, what was being
Mhm.
said or what was being done. But I want to get, my panelists here, I want to get you guys what your thoughts were about it. So guys, we open up where we left off from the premiere episode last week with Uncle Tommy basically letting us know that between Brandon and Habibi, guess what? Brandon, the father of four, married twice to the same wife and divorced twice, right? That we're gonna have to let you go because guess what? You are not ready to love. uh, I anyone who is really concerned about this between the choices and had maybe a differing opinion, can I get you to go ahead and jump in, Ron? What were your thoughts about eliminating Brandon over Habibi?
I was shocked because I thought like Brandon. Usually in the mixer, it's a meat market. It's about the eye candy. So I thought Brandon was a good-looking, tall gentleman. Usually they'll
Mm-hmm.
bypass the four kids and the situation during the first episode because it's just based on looks for the most
Mm-hmm.
part. But this cast seems to be a little more different, a little more. I ain't gonna use the word mature, but I'm gonna use the word a little older, a little past the whole look stage and things of that nature, and kind of the meat and potatoes mean a little more. So I was a little shocked, but it makes sense with this cast. If he was in a different season, he'd still be here.
Right, right, right. Okay, let me get the other lady that's in here, Kimberly. What were your thoughts? Eliminating Brandon, who has been married and had four kids in wedlock, versus keeping Habibi. What were your thoughts on that?
I think it was a good choice, but I wanted Habibi to go first. But it's just the thing about him having, what is it, four children and then divorced twice, same lady. It just, those kind of things kind of stand out. And I
Mhm.
believe that's probably what they were basing it on because I agree he should have stayed around a little longer. I believe he is ready to love, but they were
Mhm.
just basing it, in my opinion, solely off the children and the divorces.
Okay, right, 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 right. And thank you for that, Kimberly. And let me move over here next to you to Calvin. Calvin, tell me, what were your thoughts?
Well, I kind of concur with Kimberly because the thing about it, the fact that he had been married twice and had, I think it was more so the marriage situation that people had a hard time dealing with. But the thing about it, he still was looking for love. He was not disillusioned. So maybe they judged him prematurely, possibly.
Yeah, that's very possible, and we'll find out maybe more down the road or at the
Hmm.
reunion for sure.
Yeah,
Jr. Any thoughts on this situation? Thank you very much, Calvin.
you're welcome.
Yeah, I definitely feel like out of the two of them, that was the wrong choice. I think
Mhm.
the problem with Brandon is he overshared too early, and what he was sharing isn't going to be palatable to some of the ladies. It's a lot to take on
Mhm.
in that situation. So I can kind of see why, but the problem is that I have with it anyway is that he didn't rub the ladies up the wrong way, and Habibi came in episode one rubbing them the
Hmm.
wrong way and continued throughout this episode as well, right?
Mhm.
So I think
Yes.
maybe he overshared a bit too early. And I agree with Ron as well. Eye candy wise, I thought he would have stuck around a little bit longer as well. But yeah, looks are only skin deep, as they say. So
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah,
You know that's interesting. I want to ask you something. So if this was your friend, let's say for example in real life, if Brandon was your buddy, your homie, what would you
hmm
have advised him going into the mixer about what to share and what not to share? Could you tell us that?
yeah, I would have probably told him to do more listening. Meet people, listen to what their circumstances are, rather than share everything about yourself so early. You
Mm,
know, you're not therefore hiding it, but you're delaying, and being selective over who you share that information with. Maybe when you start to feel like you've got a connection, then you can reveal everything. But to come straight out the gate, that was what he was leading with, and that was
yeah.
what the problem was. Like
I,
he wasn't really leading with anything other than the fact that he'd been married twice and the 4 kids. He said it multiple times, so that's what I think contributed to him being sent home as early as he was.
Right. I agree with you. I actually honestly agree with you. It'd be like, in reverse, if a woman came on the show and the first thing out her mouth to these new men is, I'm a single mother of 5 children or whatever, been married and divorced twice from my ex-husband. We got married, divorced each other, then decided to go back and remarry, and then decided to go back and divorce each other.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
would not have advised my friend to have said that that way, so soon. Like, not
Some
that.
of it worked for Jeffrey last year. I mean, last
Uh,
season.
well, hold on. But I don't recall her leading with that. Ron, to your point. And let me get Keena in here. Hey, Keena, welcome in. Welcome in. We were just talking
Hey,
about. Hey, we were just getting started, and we were talking about the. What were your thoughts about Brandon being eliminated over Habibi, who, as Jr. so graciously pointed out, was basically offending some of the women, being obnoxious. What were your thoughts about the whole thing, or did you agree?
about Habib.
About Brandon being eliminated at the top of this episode versus Habibi being which one would you have chose and why? I guess is what I'm saying.
I think they chose right because I mean that was the
Hmm.
first initial you know that was the first meet and greet, and he had 4 kids, and he just was divorced. Wasn't he just divorced?
Yeah, 6 months. 6 months
Six
into it.
six months. So he needs to do some more healing. I think that that probably was the right decision. I mean, Abib was next, but he had a chance to get his stuff together, but he didn't. But I think the 4 kids and just been divorced 6 months, and now you already on a show to try to find love. I wasn't here for that.
Okay. Okay. Kind of like does it put you in mind of any past alumni, like maybe Deontay and what his 6, 7, 3, 4, 5 kids? I'm sorry, I don't
I mean,
remember
but
how
we
many.
didn't know he had 6 kids until that came out. Remember
Right, right,
that
right.
was a little he
Yeah,
was
we found
lying.
that out a little bit later, but I'm saying, but we did know. I think initially he started with 3 kids and 2 or 3 different baby mothers and that type of thing, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to get the understanding of it, but thank you for weighing in on that and appreciate that so much, Keena. Okay, and so then we find out so that Brandon is eliminated, and Habibi he stays by a threat. So next up, uncle, nephew, cousin Tommy is telling us that there's going to be a brunch tomorrow for the rest of the group, the rest of the singles. So we're at the brunch, and here's my phone going crazy. We're at the brunch, and Tequila lets us know that she's feeling great, her hair's straight, and her lippy is on point. And so, okay. Quentin, who is a personal trainer and 33, talks with Janelle over pancakes, and she tells him that she likes things big. Wink, wink. Okay. Let me ask. Let me ask you, Kimberly. What did you think about that when she's talking to him about she likes things big? And I think she even mentioned the XEX word.
Yeah, too much too soon once again. But like someone said earlier, that the cast, they're being honest. They're being open from the beginning. They're laying it out. I still think personally they're holding it back, but it was not a good look for me. It kind of made me cringe. Same with Tequila. She's the same. She's outspoken and kind of leading with the bedroom action. So I don't like it. I think they're going about it the wrong way, but we'll see if it works for them.
I
Right, right, right. Go
I
ahead.
agree. I
Christina.
agree with that. I feel like the Dallas cast is coming in hot. Like they are every conversation on it's like it's on they don't even know each other and everybody's talking about sex.
Yes.
Everybody is
Already.
talking about sex. It's like, damn, like can y'all please just hold up and let's like every it's so sexual. So I mean, I only can imagine what else I just feel like it's gonna be a shit show. Because on day two it's like
Okay,
sex
Keena.
and drama.
All right, let's get Calvin in here. Calvin, can you weigh in? What were your thoughts about the castmates that were leading with the sex comments and the innuendo? What of it all? What were your thoughts about that? And then I'm going to come back to the comment section.
When you think about it, we are in an over sexualized environment. So that's not so
Ooh.
strange or awkward considering that we have so much that's so pervasive. But then, that's the two-edged sword of being transparent. It can work for you and against you. So you have to be more conscientious because if you're like that with me, who else are you like that with?
And that's what I always think. I think that when we as women, I think first of all, personally as a woman, I don't appreciate it at all when a
Yeah.
gentleman leads with that because then you go from a gentleman to
Hmm.
just being a man or even a
Yeah.
male. In my estimation, you shrink in my eyes when you start with
Yeah.
that right off the gate, first
Hmm.
date, first meeting. I don't like that, but I really especially think that women have to be very careful that you
Yeah.
don't get put into the not wife material when you lead with that, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
let me see. Let me get Kimberly, can you weigh in? What are your oh you did that already. I'm sorry. Ron, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that? Leading with the
I
sex.
I was okay with it because I thought it was authentic. I remember you got to think about it. Like I remember my season, we're like season 4 in, and a lot of women were leading with the church thing because they
Okay.
thought like I owned crowd or owned people that watched the show at the time were a more churchy type of demographic that was there. So some of that church stuff was authentic. Some of it, a lot of it wasn't. And now that we go years later, and the show is, now the 8th season now, people understand, okay, that method might not be where the show's audience is at right now, so I can be myself more. I can be a little more liberated about the sexual stuff and make those jokes, and it won't be, taken the wrong way or spoken down on. So I think a comfortability factor of it, I like it. Um, we all do it. So don't think just because one person gets caught talking sexually and stuff that's the provocative one and stuff like that, because everybody's doing it. It just depends on who they want to put on camera talking about it or not, because men don't want to be put in the friend zone. So especially on a show like this where it moves very quickly. So the
Yeah.
two things we're gonna try to do is A, get a sexual talk going, and two, get a sense of touch a shoulder, a hip, or something to let her know, hey, I'm interested. I'm not in the friend zone. Don't put me in it in this type of situation.
Okay. Let me wait a minute, hold up. I meant to put this up for you. I'm sorry. We'll keep up with RTL alum Ron Friedman on IG. I am Ron Friedman. Definitely check him out. He's always got some interesting stuff going on over on his page. And I think we gotta get JR to weigh in on this. JR, what are your thoughts about a woman leading with the sex talk?
I think it's a double-edged sword, really, because if you lead with it, then you also open up the potential for some of the men to view you as someone that leads with it to the point where they will start only speaking to you about that. Right now, they're
Okay.
all adults, they're all grown, and some
Yes.
of them have been single for maybe a little while. So that conversation is going to happen, but it's whether it happens in a setting where you're alone talking on the phone or if you're actually in public view in front of the cameras. Right now, I
Right.
think that, like you say, if a guy leads with it, then you're going to see him as creepy, pervy, Fabrice, or whatever his name was. You're
Yep.
going to
Yep. From
put him
last
in that
season,
box.
two couple seasons. Yep.
And also, like you said, if a lady leads with it, she could also be seen as not wife material because she may be seen like a nympho type, person. And But let's be real. It's probably going to happen if the connections are there. It's going to happen between some of them when they go on dates off camera, if they do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. So, it's not really a dirty word. They're mostly over 40. They know what they're talking about and what they're doing. So
Okay.
I don't have a problem with it from that respect. I just think that if you lead with it, then you're more than likely going to make people associate that with you more than anything else.
Okay, and I guess Ron has his point, and I guess what he's saying is nobody wants to be friend zone. But Ron, there's so many other ways. At least, like I said, for women, for us as women, to allow a man to know that you are definitely not friend zone. It's the way I gaze at you and smile at you. It's the way maybe I touch your shoulder or touch your upper arm with my hands gently. It's so many ways, but I get it. I think the generation, you guys are a different generation, and it seems to me that everything has to be like a sledgehammer, and you have to hit the person over the head. Like, I'm sexy, I'm sexy. That's what I see. That's from my perspective, and I get it. I'm out of the mix at this point, but everything does not have to be like hardcore. Is what I guess what I'm saying. But Keno, go ahead and weigh in on this. Could you?
On what part?
Oh, about the leading with the sex part, or did I already get you on this one?
I think I kind of touched on it. I just think it's a little too early for that on day two. Like, oh, how big it, like it's just too much. Because I mean, but again, it's good for TV because we're like, ooh, we're talking about it, right? But at the end
Yep.
of the day,
Hmm.
I still think, it's a bit too much for day two. Usually I see on previous seasons, like this type of stuff doesn't happen day one and day two.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I said. It's just like they kind of came out, like you pointed out, they came out hot. They just came out hot. This cast, they're not wasting no time. I mean, the
They
arguments,
like, don't get
everything.
it twisted. We from Dallas. They letting us know what Dallas is bringing. If y'all don't know about Texas, y'all gonna know today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Okay. All right. Okay, so we got that out the way. Um mm, 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 mm. Personal trainer is chatting with Janelle over pancakes. She tells him, okay, we got that. Marketing. Da, 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 da. I think this guy. Now you guys got to help me out. What's the guy with the wavy hair? Do you say his name? Marie? How do you?
Marvin,
No, 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 not
Mario.
Marvin.
Marvin,
Say
Mariette, Mariette,
Marie. Okay, Marie.
Mariette. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is checking in with Tequila to ask her Tequila to find out if she's feeling better after last night almost being eliminated. And she says she is. He gives her some encouraging words, which I said, okay, thumbs up to Marie. I think that as a mature woman, I will say that I like a man that can be emotionally supportive. I mean, all this look
Mm-hmm.
stuff is, okay, but at the end of the day, what are you really made of on the inside? Can you
Mm-hmm.
really encourage and nurture me as a woman?
Mm-hmm.
Just like I'm giving and pouring into you and nurturing
Yeah.
you. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have that same thing to give back? Um, all right. So then nephew Uncle cousin Tommy arrives, and he says, "If you trust the process, you will find love." His parting words to this group of singles: "You is kind, you is smart, you is important." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we got Marvin, 41, the erotic author, is explaining his dungeon stuff to date Lee, then
Mm-hmm.
Jessica and Unique. Guys, we'll
Yeah.
start over here with Kimberly. What did you think about all that the dungeon talk and the dominant what do they call it for the man? Because it's a dominatrix for a woman. What is it for a man? JR,
I'm not
would you know the
sure.
name for that? Hmm?
I
I
thought it was
don't.
just dominant. He's a dominant.
Oh, dominant. Okay. Okay. So he's a dominant. So, Kimberly, I'm throwing the ball over to you. What did you think about his conversations with these three lovely ladies one on one?
Well, I just want to know, is he here to recruit? That's all I see. I don't think he's really here to
Ooh.
find love. And I'm talking about Marvin. I think
Mm,
he's just, I don't know, interviewing for the dungeon. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, especially since we already have two ladies for sure who are so open to talk about,
Mm.
their feelings and what they want. They're open. I can't wait to see he and Tequila interact just to see, what happens there. Is she gonna get over her BB and latch on to Mr. Marvin? But I'm just surprised to see someone with that title on the show. But I am interested 100%. I'm here for it. Marvin can stay.
Oh, is it now? Wait a minute. Let me make sure before we move on. Is it because you find Marvin super super duper attractive physically, or what's the deal with Marvin?
No, I'm just interested in this dungeon talk that he's talking about.
Oh, okay. All right.
No,
All
not
right.
attracted at all.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Kimber. I'm gonna move down to Ron beneath you. Ron, what are your thoughts about all of this dominant talk and this chains and whips and whatnot?
First off, what up, though? Marvin is from the hometown, and if you know Detroit, we always kind of for men,
Oh, is
sexuality is
he?
kind of yeah,
Is he? Okay. He's from the D. Okay. Cool to
it's
know.
from the
All
D.
right.
And you know old school Detroit, so you remember we were the first ones to kind of have like the male reviews with the dudes
Oh
with the
yeah.
male
Yep.
strippers,
Oh yeah.
yeah, with the
I remember.
TikTok and all that, yeah. So it's always been in this kind of sexual kind of underground thing in Detroit. I think he brought it over to Dallas. He's being open about it. He said take it or leave it, and I don't see anything wrong with that. From those relationships last. If you look for like couples to kind of like do those type of things together and are kind of open with the communication and stuff like that, I think like the
Uh-huh.
divorce rate like the least of like of people and couples are more open. So I think couples like that make it and last. So he's just looking for his partner. I think that they do stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And
All
and it's growing. Have you ever been like the Cancun to like Temptations Hotel things of that nature? It's like
right.
it's booked now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's booked, and it's booked with black people now, where it wasn't that situation. I think around 10 years ago.
Okay.
So it's an open concept now, and I think some of the ladies might be open to it. Some not. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you for that, Ron. Let's slide all the way over to the left to my left at least anyway. Let's slide over to Keena. Keena, what are your thoughts? Can I get Keena?
Hey, so
Mhm.
it's interesting because I heard it. I was on an interview that he did, and he said that in
Mm.
the interview he was a little shocked that that was the only thing that they captured because he had so many more conversations about about him being a dominant, but they only keyed in on that. And he was just like,
Oh,
there's so many other layers to him besides that. And he wished that, they didn't just portray it to be like, okay, this is what he's only about. But
Mm-hmm.
like when he said it, I was like, I mean, you write sex books. Like, what do you think that people
right.
are going to want to talk about? Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
what it is, like, and it's very interesting because, like, I wonder, are some of the girls going to be intimidating or intrigued by that? Like, because that could be like a level of intimidation. Like, this man is like, he is a dominant and he's very
Mm-hmm.
vocal about it. And he's
Right.
into all this erotic stuff. That could be really intimidating, or people could be really intrigued. So I'm interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is he just here for a good, not a long time, a good time?
Time, but a good time. I like that, Keena. Good point. Good point. Yeah, because Jessica in the scene, we see that Jessica definitely in her confessional, she says she's bowing out. She's not interested. And that's it. That's all. Unique admits that she's attracted to Marvin. And is it just me? Real quick question here. A yes or no from you guys. Is it just me, or does Unique remind you a little bit of Megan Good in the face? Is it just me?
Nobody looks like Megan Good on this show. Next.
Okay. Because I
She's
feel like
very attractive
Angela
though. She's an
Simmons,
attractive woman.
more
she
like
is
Angela
very
Simmons.
more. Oh, Angela's. Oh, okay. I didn't see that, but I can see that now that you said that. Okay, okay. But she's definitely attractive, so we get that. Okay. All right. So anyway, she says that she's attracted to Marvin, but yet she's attracted and kind of that nervous and fearful at the same time. But she likes the fact that he's dominant, that he's assertive, and he apparently likes the fact that she comes across as submissive. Uh, Habibi lets us know as we move on that in his confessional that he realizes that his energy is way too much for many of the ladies, and he and Sierra seem to hit it off initially. Now, Chris, who is Nigerian, and he says he's telling one of the ladies, somebody help me out with this scene here. I don't know what the lady's name is because I'm still getting these names down. Does anybody remember who Chris was telling that English is his second language? Which of the ladies that was? Anyone? Okay. So anyway, moving forward, Red 42, a comic, has to gather up Unique for calling his DJ job a thought job. What did you guys think about that? Because we didn't get a chance to meet last week for the premiere episode. Let me go down here to Ron in the corner. And Ron, tell me, what did you think about Unique calling Red's job a thought job?
I got two sides of it, and I'm gonna be pretty honest. I was with Red last night, so my guy. We was hanging out last night, and it is a thought job, right? Because if you went and did a questionnaire of 2,000 people and asked what is a thought job, DJ will come up, right? I mean, let's just be honest about the situation. So.
Okay.
It is a thought job, but it's a brand within a business within itself because you're a DJ slash comedian. Your brand is DJ Red, so it is a business too, six-figure business, successful business in Dallas. So it is both. But I don't think she's the type of person that could bring that out because her title says TV producer, and for one who dated a TV producer on this show, they have ulterior motives to being on here. So don't come over here and call somebody else's stuff out when obviously you're looking for your career in TV and you're trying to use this to kind of help it out a little bit. So I just thought she was the wrong person to bring it up for that reason. And I don't think people that's in TV should be dealing with other producers and things of that nature in TV in this type of environment. So if anything, I think her job's the wrong job to be on the show, not his.
Okay.
I think that
Thank you, Ron.
I want to just take it a step further. I thought the comment was 100% inappropriate. Like you don't, regardless of what you think, you don't call nobody's job a thought job. You know, like who do you think you are? And then when he made the comment back, she was offended. But my thing is, don't dish it if you can't take it.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, y'all both are in the entertainment business. So y'all both got thought jobs at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So when he said it, it was like, oh, he said my job was a thought job and da 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 da. But you said it first to him. And I just didn't like that. I didn't like that manipulation that she tried to do. And I thought it was kind of childish. And I don't think, I mean, just because you're in radio and entertainment, like there's some things okay, it might be a job that you might be in the streets a little bit, but we don't know if that man's a thought or whatever. Like I ain't like that.
Yeah, it could have come across as a little bit too much. But do you think? Let me ask you this, and let me go over to JR. What did you think about his approach in mentioning that to her? Was he being a little bit too assertive, or what did you feel?
Nah, I think Red was justified in defending himself because he was offended by what she said. And you may say it was a bit petty of him to hold on to it, but they just met. And the very first day that they met, she came out with that comment. So that was very rude. And, she needed to be checked for that. And he didn't do it in an aggressive or mean way. He basically said, well, for what you do for a living, that could be considered the same thing. You get groupies, you get fans, you get people wanting opportunities. But I think with Unique, she's already gone down in my estimation because by her calling his job a fuck job, and then like you said previously, she's attracted to this Marvin guy who's an erotic novelist and BDSM specialist, and he's leading with that with all of the conversations he's having in the first day. How is she intrigued by him potentially having other women orgasming and
Mm,
moaning and groaning in the basement while
oh
she's his
my.
girlfriend?
Mm.
Like,
Okay.
that's his career. That's the job he chose. He's not saying I want to do that specifically with my partner when we're exclusive. He's saying I entertain ladies in the basement. I chain them up. I use whips. I use utensils and all the rest of it.
Oh
Okay.
Lord.
So, so
Let's try
you
to
need,
keep it as clean as
Hold on, wait a minute.
yeah. So
Now
let's
he
you
try
need,
didn't
to
say
keep it
that
as
you
now.
need,
clean as
Hold up. He
possible,
didn't say
guys.
he was chaining
yeah.
nobody up. Now wait a minute. I
Wrong
didn't hear
turn.
He
that.
did. He actually mentioned it. He
He
Did
said,
kind
he?
"Yeah,
of
I
I
mentioned
tie
it,
didn't hear
ladies
that.
up in the basement."
But Jr. To be fair, can I ask you? Can we just kind of keep it as
Mm,
clean as possible? Because these YouTube
yeah,
streets
sorry
can be
about that.
treacherous to
Oh,
Yeah,
Aubrey,
negotiate.
he
Okay.
said it. He said what he said.
he said,
Okay.
"What?
All
Yeah."
right.
But
Let's
all
not
I'll say
ruffle.
is,
Let's
all,
okay.
all I'll finish by saying is, like,
Yes.
at
Yes.
the end
Yes.
of the day, Unique confuses me because for her to make that statement, I think she just isn't feeling red in terms of a physical attraction and wanted to nip that in the bud early. Whereas with Marvin, he has the job
Oh.
that he has, which is in the adult entertainment industry, and she
Yes.
was
Thank
willing
you.
to be intrigued by that based on the aesthetics that he brings.
Fact.
Okay. All right.
I
Okay.
agree. I agree. Like Unique, she gets a -1 for me at this point. And that what she did, that was just total manipulation. Like don't be coming on TV calling nobody job a thought job. Okay. You got a whole thought job too. So like let's be
Mhm.
clear. And you're a producer producing yourself on a TV show. So cut it out, lady.
Cut it out. Okay. All right.
Mm.
Okay. So in our very first our next scene, but our very first group date, you got Tequila, Habibi, Red, Phil, Kyra, and Janelle. Phil begins to explain that Kyra's question, when they're initially sitting together, and in front of everybody. So I don't know if I really kind of like the timing that he chose. Although I didn't have a problem with what he said, but in front of everybody, he tells Kyra that her question about SEX came out a little bit too quick for him. Uh, what are your guys' thoughts? And next to me, I'm gonna go with Calvin. What are your thoughts, Calvin, about him saying that and about her what she said? If you recall from the first episode, she kind of went into him first meeting, like, what do you think about this, and that, and what is the kinkiest? Was the question what was the kinkiest place you've ever
Spot,
had?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's two things. One, it's a known fact, sex sells. It sells.
Oh
And this
yeah.
is a
Absolutely.
television show that's about young people being attracted to one another. So again, a recurring theme that's right out the gate is the sexualization of things. So really, they're all consenting adults, and they're all adults, seasoned individuals, and they feel they can talk about any and everything, So being transparent, it does present itself again as a two-edged sword. It can work for you, against you. So when you put yourself out there in sexualized fashion, then people are gonna look at you like that. So yeah, be careful about what you say because you could put your foot in your mouth.
You could absolutely. I agree. I appreciate that, Calvin. Kimberly, what were your thoughts about this interaction with the two of them?
I'm glad he called it out. I still feel that it's too soon for the conversations. Ron is right. Yes, we all talk about it eventually, but we're what, 1, 2 weeks in now. I just
Mhm.
think it's too soon, and you're dating how many other people, and we know that this
Yeah.
probably isn't the first or second date, and this is what you're already talking about. It's not giving a good impression, and I don't think it's going
Hmm.
to lead to anything
Yeah.
positive and long lasting unless you end up with Mr. Marvin.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. There you go with that part. I see what you're saying. And you know what? Let's
Mhm.
say this. I think, Kimberly, thank you for weighing in that way. And I think what we could safely say now, whether you guys, I get what Ron's saying, and JR saying that, everybody's an adult and they're all seasoned and so forth and so on. But I think we can safely maybe come to a mutual, all of us come to a basic agreement that for women to lead with sex, it comes across as very forward and brash. And I don't really care if you're 14 or 40, it still comes across. I mean, if you're just meeting somebody, I'm just meeting you, and the first thing out my mouth is hello, let's talk about sex and what positions you like and blah blah blah. It could be a little bit much. What's the kinkiest place you've ever done it, or do you like to be chained up?
Right.
No, just a little bit
But we
overbearing.
also have to take in play,
Okay,
Aubrey, that
okay,
OWN could be
yes.
curating these conversations. You know how they do.
Mm,
You know how they do. They can have the cue cards in the back, like it's time to talk about sex. Let's talk about it.
okay,
So that could
okay.
also be why it's so forward, because they're like, oh shit, all right, well, where you like to have sex at? Because it's kind of weird. Because really, this is day 2. They had to mix it, and day 2 is the brunch. So this is day 2. So it really could be the producers like holding up signs saying, okay, next conversation, sex.
Okay. All right. All right. All right,
You don't
Keena.
think so, Ron?
Yeah.
No, because you got to factor in the phone calls. We on the phone more than we are
But it's
filming.
only day 2. You think they're talking about sex
Or
on day 2?
oh yeah, that phone conversations would be wild. The phone conversations would be wild.
Well, now I think we can all agree. Like I will even say, even me and what seems like a very archaic state that I'm in, I think even I can agree. If you're one-on-one on the phone call, it means at least that you've met the person, right? Because how did they get your number, right? Okay, so let's make that assumption that you've met the person and you've exchanged numbers, right? So if you go to the point of you're talking about on the phone, to me that's a different level than we're just out open in this group and I'm just talking to you about that. Does that make sense, Ron?
Yes.
It does, but in this situation, and I'm biased because I mean,
Of course.
Phil is the homie. He the homie. We grew up. We got the same best friends with Cut in Gennaro, Detroit. What up, though? And come on, man. Like you were not offended that a woman was talking about some damn sex. You might want a certain image. You might want to go a certain way, but in your actual being, it didn't offend you. That ain't the reason why you weren't attracted to her. It might have been another reason, but that's a little caption. I feel it's in that. Like, you know what I mean? Like most of the
Okay.
guys I met on the show, they have that little wild streak in them and stuff like that. It is what it is. No man I've met yet who will be offended from a woman talking sexually in the beginning. I met them. A lot of castmates I have not met.
Absolutely, Ron. Absolutely, Ron, because they don't vet the dudes on the show. All the guys have been on the show has been for the streets. So of course they want to talk about sex because they're for the goddamn streets.
Keena. Okay. All
I
right.
mean, y'all weren't vetted either. The women weren't vetted either. Don't go there.
All
I
right.
mean,
Now, okay.
hey, they are picking people for the streets at this point. They are picking people for the streets. They picking
All
the
right.
girls for the streets and they picking the guys for the streets.
All right, guys, as we move forward. Okay, so the group gets up and they're now playing bowling with the football. Red, is it me or is it just me or what do you guys think? Red seems to be trying to play two women against one another, meaning Janelle and Kyra. So, he's putting his hands all over Kyra's back and small of her waist, and Janelle is getting upset saying, don't let that lady get you in trouble, blah, blah, blah. Kimberly, what were your thoughts about that as a lady? What were your thoughts about that? Should Janelle gotten so excited about Red touching a woman? This is just day 2.
Oh no, I believe in dating multiple. You're on this show, you sign up to date
Yes.
multiple. I would have went and just secured my second boo and let Red do what Red wants to do. And even Red knows that it's bothering her. I would not have let him know that it was bothering me at all. So she's doing too much too soon too.
All right, definitely agree. JR, what were your thoughts about it? The Red trying to pit Janelle and Kyra against one another.
I think Janelle just showed that she's very competitive, and I think it is a competition, and if you're going to enter this process, then you have to be aware that you're going to have connections that may not Yeah, you're gonna have connections that may not actually find you immediately as their number one, and it's still day two. So why would
Yeah.
he be exclusive? He has the right, just as she does, to explore the process, see what connections they have, and take it from there. And the danger with that is sometimes the chemistry may be better with somebody else, you know. And
Mm.
because they were on the same team and they were winning, it was just a celebratory thing that I saw, you know. I don't think it's anything too deep, and Janelle probably read too much into it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. I want to ask one of my moderators, whether it's Monique or LMV, if you could you get JR's channel? I don't know. Let me see if I have it up here. Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. Because I wanted to put his channel up here too. Guys, go check out all these wonderful content creators. Oh yeah, I got it. Never mind. Sorry about that, Monique. And you were saying what else you were finishing up saying, JR?
Yeah, I was just saying that, you know, it's a competition, and Janelle, I just think she was a bit petty. You know,
Yeah.
now you smell like her, you know, comments like that. It was just too much, in my opinion. Like, she already has other connections. She sat down with other guys and you know, smiled and kikied with them as well. So I
Mhm.
don't see why she was so hot about it, to be honest.
Absolutely, I agree. Thank you for that. And Keena, what were your thoughts, real quick, and then we'll move on.
I agree with the group on this one.
Okay, very good, very good. Short and sweet and to the point. Very good. Um, Okay, so Janelle continues to, after he's finished with Kyra, Janelle chats up Red, who seems to like her also. Is this an early possible connection? Maybe. Next, we move on to Eris, the lady. She has a group date at her home with Quentin, Chris, and Herbert. And then the ladies are her, Jessica, and Sierra. And Sierra has the denim booty shorts on, which were very adult like, which Herbert noticed. Okay, so we see Sierra and Herbert flirting. That name Herbert, that just trips my tongue because I only know one Herbert. That is an old fashioned name if ever there was one. Okay, but it's cute. Sierra admits that she has been abstaining from SCX for almost a year, and Jessica and Chris connect over his admission. And Chris is the guy who is he's family is from Africa, and his family has also tried to arrange a bride. He was offered twins, and he was offered his selection of which one of these identical twins was for him, and he has decided to opt out of that prearranged marriage, and he wants to select his own wife. Any thoughts about the date that was going on at Aries' house, guys? Ron?
I think it was a good group date. I like Herbert. I think he's a genuine guy. I think
Hmm.
if the ladies don't sleep on him, that could be a relationship minded guy that can make it last past the show, right? Um,
Right, right. Yeah, he's the
yeah, I
one
think he
with
has
the locks too, so people
a
know.
lot.
He's the one with the locks and the beard. Okay, right. Okay.
Yeah, he's humble. He's actually looking for. He could be in a relationship to be okay. The Nigerian, like I said, we're in Texas, a big Nigerian population. It a lot of different things that come on with that. They do treat their women pretty well for the most part. They can stay faithful.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
a lot of women are intrigued by that. A lot of women are intrigued by the exotic look, chocolate stuff like that. But in some families, other things come with that. Religion. A lot of them are stark Jehovah's Witnesses. A lot of them have arranged marriages and different things, and those men do not go against the father. So the father says, "You out as a female, you're out." Ain't no way around it. I don't care. He said he went his own path and he did that.
Right.
I'm honorary Nigerian in Texas, basically. That's how many Nigerian friends I have. A lot of them go
Okay.
their own way. A lot of them go their own way, and a lot of them go right back when it's time to make that real decision because they don't go against the family. It's part of their culture. So you really need to understand their culture if you're going to be married for a long-term pursuit with a Nigerian West African man, right? So that's the case on that. I'm trying to remember what else went on in that group date that was significant, but yeah, those two scenarios that's what I have on that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Jr., what did you pick up from this date? And Ron, if I could ask you if you could, yeah, you could mute your mic. Okay, thank you. Ron, I mean, not Ron. I'm sorry, Jr. What did you pick up on this date between, with Chris being Nigerian and so forth? What were any observations that you wanted to make about this date?
I think there was a reasonable amount of chemistry, decent amount of chemistry, but again, like Ron said, the culture may come into play at some point when he does, uh, if he's able to find a serious connection. But you know, so far, Chris has done quite well. He's avoided any talks of possible elimination or being put down in the bottom. He hasn't upset anyone. So,
Right.
you know, good date, smooth, not really much to talk about with them, in my opinion.
Okay, well let me go ahead and read this, and then I want you to sign in while I've got you and I got your thing up. Okay, so Aries, the lady whose house home we're at this point, she's in her early 40s, and there she's very beautiful, but there is a 10-year age gap between her and Quentin, who's in his early 30s. And they seem to be sitting on the couch getting very close, and she's doing one of my things where she's, massaging his arm with her fingers and being very, very feminine about it, I think. And he asked her straight out the question, do you have an issue with me being almost 10 years younger than you? And she states unequivocally that she has no issue with it at all. What were your thoughts about this part of the date?
Is that to me?
Yeah, yes.
Um,
I'm sorry. Yes, to you,
okay,
JR.
so um, yeah, I mean, she's there as one of the ladies who may have that problem with some of the guys. Like she may be a little bit older, but I think 10 years is a large gap. And that
Mm,
may start to unravel as time goes on. Maybe the maturity level may not be the same when they get to know each other a bit more. But for
okay.
now, they seem to be saying the right things, but he also has other connections as well, like Lee, for example, who he seems to
Yes.
get along with too. So, and
Mm,
she's much more around his age group.
yes.
So, um, yeah, at the moment, I mean, they may like the aesthetics of each other, and on paper it might sound good, but when they get to the minutiae, when they get more into the details, then it may not last that long.
Okay. Anyone else want to weigh in on Quentin and Aries?
I'll weigh in. At
Yes, thank
10 years age gap, I mean, it ain't gonna work. And I was the first person to say that I believe there's gonna be zero matches at the end of the season. And I believe that because the age gap within the cast of the men and females were way off with who they selected this season. And
you.
it means something. I don't
Ron?
now it's the dating game. And if age matters, it really does. Women don't want to date too much younger, men don't want to date, you know, too much older. It matters. It means something. A guy like him is not about to be serious with a woman 10 years older than him. If you think so, you're in la la land. It ain't
Yeah.
happening. It ain't gonna happen. So enjoy the TV, but in real life, it ain't going down. And we have a lot of these mismatches in ages. If you looked at all the ages of the men this season and the ages of
Okay. Okay.
the women are older than a lot of the men. So that's why I think they're gonna go blank. I think they're gonna go 0 for 0 this season when it comes to real matches.
Mhm.
Well, let's not give all that away right away, Ron. Thanks a
I don't know. This is allegedly. I don't know. I have no clue. And that's true. I put that on everything. I don't have no clue how this turned. It could be 4 marriages happen. I don't know. I'm saying if I was gonna guess from my experience in these streets and the age gaps that they had on there, I did not like that when I saw the age gap in the beginning of who they picked men wise and women wise. I didn't understand it
Okay.
whatsoever.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And you know what? So we're gonna wrap this section up. The men were very gentlemanly on this particular date. Herbert offers to walk Sierra to her car, and she accepts, and she gives him a gracious smile. They exit. Quentin stays behind and asks Eris if he can help her clean up because, the party, you got cups and things everywhere. And so he helped clean up. I thought that was very nice, very gentlemanly once again. We move on to the next date, which are individual dates, actually. Habibi and Sierra. And guys, is it just me or is Sierra the new Ida 2.0? But okay, I'm just saying. That's from your season, Ron, right? Okay, so Habibi and Sierra, they meet up, in a little restaurant. And while on the other side of town, we have another pair meeting up, Quentin and Lee, which is, JR spoke about the chemistry between Quentin and Lee. I thought was very good because if I'm not mistaken, Quentin is a personal trainer. And I believe that Lee owns a gym or something like that too. Let me look at my notes here. Yeah, she owns a gym. So, they're in the same business, right? Okay, so then as Sierra is being chatted up by Habibi, she's telling him about the story about being from Louisiana and, crawfish. Everybody knows Louisiana is famous for their delicious crawfish, seafood. And she's talking about she's about 4 and her mom is eating 10 crawfish to every one that she's given her daughter. And Habibi slips and says, your mother ain't ish, but with the S in front of it, the sugar honey iced tea. And I'm like, I'm gobsmacked. Is it just me? Like what? What are your thoughts about this, Kimberly, up there in the corner? What are your thoughts?
I just want to know, how did we get here with Sierra even giving Habibi any time at all? I'm not liking him, and the part about the mother not being, wasn't even the first strike. I think, in my opinion, the first strike was when he was kind of concerned or confused about her talking to her mom daily, because I talk to my mom daily and I didn't see anything wrong with it. And I think you should check in with your family, often, especially once they get up in age, you should be connecting with them. So the fact that he had a problem with that or thought that that was not something common was the first strike. And for him to just outright say your mama ain't whatever on camera, like in front of people, so loud and so proud, I would have got up and left immediately. That was disrespectful to me. I would not have waited. I would have said, check please out loud and got up out of there.
Right. I absolutely agree with you. Anybody else want to weigh in on this situation with
Abib is an immature boy. He's very
he's a man child. Yep.
He's very immature. He's looking for camera time, and he curated a look, and he curated this
image
type of this type of facade, like, I'm gonna be the jokester, and it just backfired on him. I will say though, in that conversation he had with Sierra, that was a lot of editing. So I would love to know what was like. I just don't believe he just jumped out the window like, oh, your mama ain't shit. But, it probably was like, they probably was joking. He's like, oh, your mom, like it probably was something funny in a funny context, but it shouldn't have been said. But I can't wait to hear exactly how it went down, because you can tell that was like chopped up so bad that it just kind of came off like very like strong, like what? But in regards to all of it, he's very, very immature and he needed to go home. This is not the show for him. Like, I don't know if he's trying to be a saxophonist or god dang on, first, comedy of get his improv show on. I don't know what he's trying to do, but this ain't that, bro. Bye.
I like to be.
I like Habib.
Of course you would like Habib
too. He's too much. Like, he's not serious about nothing. Everything's a joke.
But and it doesn't work for this show because you don't have time to really joke. But you can imagine him in his style. He's a well-dresser, good-looking guy, kind of joking with a woman to that personality kind of like gets her. And I bet he collects a lot of women that way. So for him, it works, I bet, in real life. On this show, where you being your authentic self don't always pay off, you being real doesn't always pay off. You got to play the game a little bit. He wasn't willing to play the game, and he's a hard person to control. So yeah, he's going to get out of there from a production standpoint. But I thought he was being authentic. I know he was being his authentic self. That's who he is. But it's not
How do you
it's
know
joking.
though? How do you know he's been his authentic self and he's not doing that for 2
Yeah,
years?
Ron, how do you
Because
know
it
that?
seemed like he was.
I know him. I know he's being this out there. That's
You
who
know
he is.
every
That's who he is.
goddamn body. Damn,
It's
bro.
Texas. I'm in Texas. Dallas and Houston are like,
About 3 hours apart.
yeah, we're cousins. Like it just is what it
Right.
is. Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
Wait a minute,
if you
Ray.
knew him, you should have told him he shouldn't have been doing that shit.
I don't get nobody no advice from the city no more because I'm
Well,
not.
I mean, you should.
I don't need that. I don't need the video struck. Okay, with the cursing.
Sorry,
But
but
some things is a ratings grabber though, and maybe he's
Absolutely.
setting himself for something else down the road. He
Oh,
made
that's
his
a good
mark.
point,
He made his
Kelvin.
mark.
That's a
He
good
made
point.
his mark. He made his mark.
Raven said he is charging $1,000 for an interview. I love when RTO people really think someone's going to pay them to get an
What?
interview.
Mm.
That is the funniest. That is the funniest because they tried. Some people tried to do that on Potomac, and it didn't work. And they need to. People need to stop that.
That is crazy. Nobody's paying that man $1,000. But we'll continue on and moving forward. Go ahead, Kelvin. Did you have something you wanted to add to this real quick?
Well, I was just gonna say. Oh, sorry.
Now you go, bro.
I was gonna say sometimes people see an opportunity for themselves. And a character can really translate into something that captures the people. We're image conscious, and we're playing right into reality TV. And reality TV is so fixated on ratings and one-upsmanship, So the fact that he came in, made his mark, he can be a good prospect for another show, possibly.
Absolutely. We've seen people do it, haven't we, guys? We've seen
But-
people go to other shows. Go
But
ahead.
can we? Yeah, people do transition to other shows. They do.
Yeah.
But what I am gonna say is what was kind of interesting was when Tequila, is her name Tequila?
Yes.
Okay, when Tequila was going to bat for him,
Mhm.
she was saying things that no one knew, like, oh, he's smart, he's educated, he's an educator. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I didn't get all these Q notes on him because the only thing I heard was he was a saxophonist. So clearly, like, there's other conversations that were being had that they didn't show because we only got this one side of, like, he's a jokester, he's not serious, and he plays the saxophone in Dubai. That's all we got.
Yeah.
And actually, if you go to his page, you find out that he's more of a DJ, and I think that's more of an international
That's what he said.
DJ than he is a saxophone. Because I heard his saxophone playing, and baby, believe me, I love me some saxophone, and I know some good saxophone, and he is just mediocre. Okay. So, but the DJ is really actually what he does. But I think that maybe production, for the sake of value, said, okay, we can't have 2 and 3 DJs, so we'll give him the saxophone title rather than the DJ title, right? So that's what I suspect. I don't know this, but this is just in my,
something. It had to be something, Aubrey, because that just don't make sense.
But Keena, you took us in there, so let's stay in there. So we're in the ladies' lounge, and as the women are talking to Uncle, Nephew, Cousin Tommy about which men they like, and then we get to the portion where they have to give up what are the men that are least ready to love. And then, of course, Habibi's name is thrown out there. And what in the world? Again,
rightly
right?
so.
Yeah,
Rightly so.
2 times in a good point, Jr. And I'm gonna let you lead, Jr. So what is it that you think that triggered Miss Tequila to get so annoyed? I mean, what was going on with her? Because you would have thought this was her husband, the way she was fighting for him. What are your thoughts, Jr.?
Well, I think based on the fact that she was placed in the bottom on the first episode, she didn't appreciate that all the guys that she had spoken to, their feedback had put her down there. So she zoned in on Habibi, Travis, and as kind of like her saving grace. That's the guy that she's got the connection with. There is some type of chemistry there with him, much more than the other guys at this point. So I think she wanted to keep him on the show because keeping him there keeps her there. Which is why I also think she made the comment of, oh, well, if you eliminate Habibi, then you eliminate me, when she was being escorted out. So
yeah, you can go on and leave, girl, because you was already at the bottom last week, weren't you?
Exactly. And that's why my initial comment at the start of this was, okay, like Habibi should have been the one to go because I know for a fact Brandon wouldn't have made those type of comments to some of the ladies. He wouldn't have rubbed them up the wrong way. He
Yeah.
seemed like he was ready to, have conversations and open up and be a bit more vulnerable, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But he was not the type of person from what we saw that was going to say inflammatory things to get the ladies' backs up. And we already know that once you get some of the women backs up with some of the things you say, it goes back into the ladies' lounge and then you end up in the bottom. So,
Mm-hmm.
Habibi should have gone first, but the fact that he's down there again, I'm not surprised at all. And he hasn't done anything, in my opinion, to make me feel like he needed to stay.
Yeah.
Nothing, despite his connection with Tequila. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Very good point. Very good point. Uh, Keena, is that you? You want to weigh in on what you think about why perhaps a young lady got so excited? Is it possible they could have had, and without you getting very graphic or anything, is it possible they could have had relations, adult relations, perhaps?
Nah, I don't think they had no adult. I'm not gonna put that on her, you know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
I'm not gonna put that on her because I do like tequila, but I'm not gonna put that on her. I think maybe she was having deep conversations with him and maybe she had a connection with him. But again, I think that is it Janelle?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Uh,
Janelle is
oh yeah, Janelle. Yes, the one she was
I think
angry with.
Janelle, you could tell she's a producer's favorite, and she feels like she could like she's leading, so she's like one of the.
Mm.
I think like she's holding the weight with the girls. Like okay, like a lot of guys like me, I'm a top, and what I say matters. And Tequila
Oh.
wasn't having it. She like hold up, sweetie. Like you don't run. You're not running this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was more it was like an ego thing. I think it was more like an ego thing, and she was like, I'm not gonna let you try to run this conversation. I'm gonna have to check you. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
more of that um
Oh,
that
okay.
played out because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes these hoes got to be checked.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
There goes my rating for this video.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes those girls have to be checked. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, so we find out that Red and of course Habibi are at the bottom. They are both sent on their elimination dates, and
Mm-hmm.
no surprise that Habibi is eliminated. Did
Yeah.
they make the right choice, Calvin? I'm gonna move up to you.
Well, yes, they did. They did because the thing about it is that Habib is he's evolving. I would put it like that. He hasn't got to where he need to be, but he's
Okay.
charming and charismatic. But he has to learn how to use it. So that's what I'm saying. He's going to another. This show could segue into something else for him, but he has to learn how to put a filter on it as well as be more in tune with other people's needs instead of just being so self-absorbed.
Mm. Now I like what you said. You gave a word right there. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Mhm.
Yes. What about you, Kimberly? Did they make the right choice? What were your thoughts?
For sure. I was ready for him to go home from the first sighting
Yeah.
of him. And I like the way Calvin put it. He is charming. And I hadn't seen it until you said it, but now that I think about it, he is. But I
Yeah.
was just so turned off about his actions, and then the way he talked about how he cheated on the past partner and why he
Mhm.
cheated.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Oh
Tequila,
yeah,
he
we didn't even
told
talk
us.
about that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tequila had already told us that guys like a little drama, so that's what she's bringing. So I didn't expect
Mhm.
anything less from her from that interaction, but I do think she's a sweetheart. Just has a little growing to do, just like Habibi, and we'll see what happens. I don't think she's going to leave now that he's
Yeah.
gone. I think it was just all talk, and she was just trying to make a scene, and he's gone. So what are we going to do?
Mhm.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Jr. Any thoughts on whether or not they made the right selection to eliminate Habibi over Red?
Yeah, now they definitely made the right choice because, as I said, he's just rubbing everybody the wrong way uh,
Mhm.
through these conversations, and you can't say things like "f your mom" and things like that. You can't do that. that I couldn't even understand why he would have said that in that moment, because that was very offensive. So I'm not surprised at all that the Prince of Persia has left. He needed to go.
Right. Yeah, he needed to go. Yeah, and we ain't even ever get into the whole Persian Muslim whatever thing he had going on because I
Rudolph
mean
Valentino.
yeah, Rudolph Valentino. We never even got it. And that's
Yeah.
fine because we're
Yeah.
gonna get ready to wrap this up. But guys, definitely go over and check out JR's channel. He is
Yeah.
wonderful. He is awesome. He is kind. He is smart. He is important. Okay. And also
Thank you.
Kino. Thank you for being here. And Kino, you're gonna have the last word on this here tonight as we get ready to wrap up. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts about did they make the right elimination with Habibi, or should they have kept Habibi?
Absolutely. I think production probably would have wanted him to stay a little longer. Probably just for ratings and to keep it like spicy. But I think it was the right decision just because he's immature and he has a lot of growing up to do. So I think it was the right decision. And none of the girls was feeling him.
Right. There was well. Now let's not say none because what we had our girl Tequila. She was all into him.
That's it. But that's it. But it doesn't really because some people go the distance and they only have that one connection. So, but again, like I just feel like so much is happening so early on in Dallas. Like stuff like this is like episode 6. Like this has happened episode 2. So I don't know what else is like. I'm just curious to see what else they got because this is a lot for episode 2.
Right. And guys, go over and check out the Audacity. That's our girl Keena here. Are you going to be our roving reporter again this season?
Oh, I got my ear to the streets, y'all, in DC. You already know it.
All right, and we got Ron. Ron had to break off. Ron is out and about as always. So we understand that, Ron. We appreciate you being here. We're about to pull on out of here, guys. We're an hour and 11 minutes and some seconds into this joint, but we're about to pull out of here. I want to thank this wonderful panel, including Ron, who had to leave early. I want to thank to my left. I want to thank Calvin Thompson for being here, a new person on our panel this season, and he will be returning. Is that right, Calvin?
Yes, I will.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to seeing you again. And the beautiful Miss Kimberly Reviews, who has her own channel, go over there and subscribe. She does a live watch on Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on her channel. So you guys, we can go over there and live watch. I'm over there quite frequently, and she is super awesome. We've got Keena down here underneath me. Keena has a podcast with 2 other ladies. And what's it called, Keena?
Oh, the Audacity. So we're on a break and we'll be coming back in September.
Right.
I'm probably going to be
hot girl summer for you right now, huh?
Hot girl summer right now. But I'm probably going to be reviewing this show myself. So I got a lot. I'm super busy right now. I got a lot of stuff going on myself. But I'm probably going to start reviewing this show because I got a lot of things coming up on the up and up. So
are you also going to be doing Love and Marriage Detroit? Are you going to catch it while it's still on now? And what's going on with that? Because tell me.
We'll talk, yeah. But I might do Love and Marriage Detroit. People have been wanting me to do it, but I'm gonna we'll talk. But yeah, I might start.
All right, let's talk behind the scenes then. It sounds like you got some inside information, and then over here to JR. JR, what's going on? What's going on with your channel? And tell the people where they can find you.
Okay, you can find me on IG on JRX TV1 and on YouTube, JRX TV. I review shows like Ready to Love, Married at First Sight, etc. Black love is what I want to see. None of the turbulence, but check me out. I have opinions and obviously a baritone voice that you might want to hear more of. So check me out.
Yes, indeed, guys.
Amen.
Amen and hallelujah. All right, guys, we are are on out of here, guys. Panelists, say goodbye. Say bye,
Goodbye,
everybody.
and thank you so
Bye,
much. Goodbye.
y'all.
All right.
Enjoy your
Bye
week.
now. Love you.